actions have changed the world.
Hello, and welcome back to the world of assassination and the trending contracts. And today's contract, the West House Massacre, set in Whittleton Creek, and the contract ID is on the screen now for anyone who wishes to have a crack at it, and has been supplied to us today courtesy of Uniform Shade 1. So moving on to our briefing, looks like you have some competition. Make sure all in the Smith property are dealt with. So moving on to our targets, and today we have 5 of them with no stipulations on how we dispatch them or what we wear whilst we do so. So we have a free map. And for today's challenge, we'll be starting at the default location. We're going to have a lockpick stored up in the park shed, and we'll be bringing with us a micro remote taser, a micro remote explosive, and our silenced pistol. So right from the start and off the bat, we are going to make our way to the park shed, and we are going to retrieve our lockpick here, and then we can make our way to the west property where all of our targets are congregating. So we're just going to run straight down the road here until we get to the muffin van and our first target, although she will in fact be our final target. So we're just going to set up the elimination while we're here. So once we get round to the far side of the van, we're going to place our micro explosive on this side of the van somewhere, and then we're going to duck over the fence into the west property and down into the basement. We're going to lockpick our way into the basement and over straight away to the sink. And here we're going to drop our taser on the floor, and then we're going to overflow the sink. Now that will not attract anyone's attention, as there's no one near enough to attract the attention of. So we're going to make our way up the basement stairs, lockpick our way into the house proper, and attempt to trigger a conversation between Mrs. West and Mr. Burton. And if we manage to trigger that conversation, Mrs. West will make her way down here somewhat quicker than she would do normally. If we just let the situation play out, she will get interrupted by the front door. So while we're waiting, I'm just going to make the ambience a little bit more accommodating by taking out a few of the lights here. We're going to select our taser trigger, and we'll wait the arrival of Helen West, and when she gets close enough, she will notice the overflowing sink. She will move in to stop the overflowing sink, and she will find that she can kick rather high. So once she steps into the puddle, we're going to trigger the taser, and a nice roundhouse kick there, or overhead kick of the bug zapper. So with Helen West now taken care of, we're going to make our way back up into the house, and it looks like we're just in time for Mr. Burton's return. So we're going to let him get into the kitchen. He's going to pull out a notepad of some sort or a clipboard, and we can then just walk up behind him. We're going to plant 2 in his back, keeping an eye out for the patrolling gardener, FBI agent, whoever he is. He's currently out in the garden, so we have plenty of time. We're just going to position our friend here by the cupboards in the corner, although we do have time to deposit him somewhere a little more securely, but there will be fine. We're now going to take our place by the garage door, and we're just going to wait for the FBI gardener to make his way on his regular trip to the bathroom. And once he enters into the bathroom, all we have to do is sneak up behind him and reintroduce him to whatever grass and flowers he has been eating today. So, 3 targets taken care of, 1 target already set up for the elimination, and that just leaves us 1 last target. We're going to exit the West House, and we're going to make our way over to, I believe, the Hanson's property, and that is the house with the boat outside at the end of the street here. We're going to hop over the fence into the garden, and we are going to retrieve ourselves 1 of the propane cylinders dotted around the map. You don't actually have to take this one. There is one just off to our right as well, over in the creek shed. That one is a little bit glitchy. It does tend to detonate itself in sympathy when we detonate another cylinder on the map somewhere. So it is a 50-50 chance that we may get a bonus kill with the guard who leans against the creek shed fence. But either way, once we have our propane cylinder and we have returned to the Helen West property, we're going to make our way into the garden and throw our propane cylinder up against the shed area. That will attract the attention of our target, and if he stands close enough to the propane cylinder, we can take our shot now. Unfortunately for this particular run, he was some distance away from the cylinder. I didn't want to risk detonating it and knocking him out and not eliminating him. So we're going to wait for him to go back to his normal routine, which is relatively short, and he will then make his way back over to the shed, and this time he will be considerably closer, and this time we will take our shot at the propane cylinder. And all that's left for us to do now is to begin our exit strategy, and that is to exit the West property back out onto the main street. We're heading for the bus stop exit, and we will stop briefly along the way to eliminate our final target. Now unfortunately she is currently in panic mode because of the other explosion, so we are going to be waiting around for her for a little while, but eventually she will go back to her usual routine, and when she stands next to the van, we can then trigger our micro explosive and eliminate our final target of the day. So with our final target now very much crispy, all we have to do is make our way to the bus stop exit or the bridge exit if you fancy running the extra few yards. I always go for the bus stop as I'm not walking out of here, it's suburbia, I'm getting a bus. So we're just going to exit out of Whittleton Creek, and that is 1 more trending contract taken care of, and we will get confirmation all of our targets have been eliminated according to plan, and we get our silent assassin rating. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.